Good morning and happy Sunday. Some families spend years carrying the pain and defending that the pain is real. A mom recently wrote me about her daughter who lives with functional neurological disorder, often called FND. It's a neurological condition with real symptoms that many people still misunderstand. Her daughter has lost a great deal of independence, been questioned, bullied, judged, even survived suicide, and pushed through more than most people realize. What struck me was how much energy this family has spent helping other people understand a reality they've already been living every single day. Here's today's question. Why do people need my pain to make sense before they care? This question shows up anywhere people find themselves carrying pain that doesn't show up clearly on the outside. When people recognize a problem, they usually know how to gather around it. Somebody gets injured, a family loses their home, a child is diagnosed with cancer. What do people do? They bring food, offer help, pray, call, check in because they understand what they're looking at. Invisible suffering asks something different from us. It asks us to stay present when we don't fully understand what's happening. People are often more comfortable helping with the problem than sitting with the uncertainty. This is what ridiculously real mental health looks like. It's recognizing that people deserve care before their suffering makes sense to everyone else. Sometimes support begins with understanding, and sometimes it begins with simply staying present long enough to understand later. However, compassion was never supposed to require certainty. Trying to survive something is hard enough. Having to prove it while you're surviving it is something else entirely. And sometimes that disbelief comes from people whose job is supposed to be helping. A neighbor's disbelief hurts. A professional's disbelief can change outcomes. When somebody in a position of authority decides your experience isn't real, the consequences often reach far beyond hurt feelings. Sometimes the extra injury isn't the illness at all. It's what happens when people don't believe the illness is real. I think that's why so many families end up living in a place we rarely talk about enough, the middle. Most people know how to respond to an event. Far fewer know how to accompany and support a season. The hardest part about the middle is that life keeps asking things from you while you're still carrying the struggle. The family is still making the decisions about whether today feels safe enough or steady or possible enough. From the outside, it can look like time has passed. Inside the house, people are still measuring the day. And while the struggle is still shaping everyday life, the attention around it often fades. That's where many people begin feeling unseen. That's why I think support deserves a different conversation. One small shift is the question we ask. Instead of asking, "How are you doing?" try asking, "What's been the hardest part lately?" That creates room for something more honest than the answers most people have practiced giving. But I've also been thinking about something else. Families carry invisible pain often spend a lot of energy giving updates, explaining situations, answering questions, of course, and helping people understand what's happening. Sometimes the most meaningful thing you can offer isn't another request for information. It's simply a reminder that they're still on your mind. And support doesn't have to be a question at all. One of my best friends lost her father recently. A few days later, I was walking the dogs and saw a group of dragonflies. The last time she visited, we stopped and watched a whole field of dragonflies together. I took a photo, sent it to her, and wrote, "Thinking about you." She wrote back and said she needed that more than I knew. Now, I didn't solve anything. I simply reminded her she hadn't disappeared from someone's mind. That's what people need most. So this week, try sending a better question or a photo, maybe a memory, a message that says, "No need to explain anything back. I just wanted you to know I'm thinking about you." The people we remember most during difficult seasons usually aren't the people who showed up first. They're the people who stayed connected long enough to learn what season we're living in. And if you're the person carrying the burden, I want you to hear this too. After enough years, you learn who can hold the longer version of the story and who only has room for the shorter version. Protecting your energy isn't giving up. It's recognizing that surviving what you're carrying already takes enough effort. Pain doesn't become more worthy of compassion because somebody finally understands it. And if someone came to mind while you're watching this today, somebody who's still carrying something long after everyone else stopped talking about it, maybe this isn't the week to fix anything. Maybe it's simply the week to remind them they don't have to carry it by themselves. Thank you for trusting me with this today. If you have a question for a future episode, email me at drshannon@kfvs12.com. And always remember, you are worth it. Lean into being the best version of yourself, one small step at a time. Happy Sunday.